How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, this is one of them videos, and I have a lot of things to reveal to the royal family. So, who is this beautiful sister we see here? This beautiful sister is Dr. Colbert. And early March, in fact, March 3rd, remember we seen Trump at the Disease Control Center, trying to run stuff, trying to battle coronavirus. Well, there's things that they purposely do in mainstream media, and this is why it's necessary to have our own media, black media. And this sister here, I'm going to read more about her. I want you to keep in mind, she is the senior researcher. And I had to put this all together. Now, I seen an article on the Black Atlantic Star, and then I'm a person, I can't just look at one thing. I have to go on this journey and do this research. And I have a bonus video too that will possibly piss you off. But we're going to go on this journey, and we're going to give this sister the utmost respect. And I pray that everyone will make sure that they get this video around. I thank y'all for your ongoing support, for the donations, so our family can get what we need to protect ourselves from coronavirus. I'm not saying heal thyself, but protect ourselves from coronavirus. And I need the royal family, please, to work with me. You must email me. I'm dealing with a lot, trying to help our family. And please hear what I'm saying. I'm not giving out any toilet paper or anything like that. Giving what we need to take to build up our immune system. One supplement, and that's optional. And I always talk to y'all behind the scenes because people have particular needs, and one hospital grade disinfectant. And I'm just going to be straight up with y'all. This stuff comes slow, given the totality of what we are dealing with right now. So many know because people have been ordering things. But please, if you go to the top, you will see my email, 1717mac@gmail.com. Mac, M-A-C-K. I overlook things, but you have to email me because y'all making me work harder, and I don't rush through things. I'm slow. Some people even get irritated that when I'm doing a video, I stretch it out too long. When I do any research or present anything to the royal family, I take my sweet time and I'm thorough. It's a reason for that, because we don't get respect. Sometimes we don't respect ourselves. So the people that are emailing me behind the scenes, just remember that what I said the first part, I'm only sending what we need to protect ourselves. I can't send y'all toilet paper, soap, and all these things. Your health is more important, and I feel like all of us need to at least have one hospital grade disinfectant in our house. So it's like you clean with what you clean with, and then on top of that, you to keep for maintenance. You use the hospital grade, and you add no water. You just put it, spray it. You can put it in a container, spray it on your countertops, let it sit there, buff it out with a dry towel. So, I hate this stuff. I always like to get into the videos. So I need my mods to stay on me and help me. I need y'all help. When y'all see something out there and somebody's not following instructions, guide them. I appreciate it. So as we continue on with this beautiful divine queen, first I'm going to read this article, and I have a number of videos to present to the royal family. So, meet the black female scientists paving the way in the race to develop COVID-19 vaccine. Dozens of researchers around the world are racing to create a vaccine to eliminate COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Corbett, a viral immunologist working with the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, is the front runner in its development. They ain't gonna say it in this article, but she is the senior. She's running that whole thing. People are working under her. Corbett is a lead researcher with Dr. Bernie Graham coronavirus team in the Vaccine Research Center, which is part of the National Institute of Health, an agency within the Department of Health and Human Services, is the federal government's main biomedical research organization. Dr. Corbett's team has been working in recent weeks to help test and develop an experimental vaccine invented by private biotech company Moderna Inc. Along the way, her team role was to grow so-called spike protein, a key component of Moderna's coronavirus vaccine. Okay, so the National Institute of Health described the spikes and virus, thusly coronavirus, are a spherical, and that's something that's round. That's round, and we already know that. We've been seeing, everybody in the damn near put it up on their channels where you see like a ball and then you see these spikes on there. So anyway, having spikes protruding from the surface, giving the particles a crown-like appearance. The spike bind to human cells, allowing the virus to gain entry. Years of research into a similar virus has given Dr. Corbett's Vaccine Research Center team valuable experience at growing this protein, which they did quickly and sent to Moderna, where they received the first research doses of vaccines for Moderna. Dr. Corbett and her fellow scientists immunized dozens of mice. Days later, blood samples that were collected from the mice were checked to see if the mice were producing antibodies against that all-important spike protein. The work which cleared by the way for a phase 1 clinical trial. And so, where is that at? So, I'll put that in the link. Some people are like reading this stuff. And this is the phase 1 trial that they are working on. And then there's other things you can go into and break it on down and look into this. I don't think there's something there too. But that's phase 1. Let's go back. Okay. Go back to this Queen's picture. So, the work was cleared, by the way, for phase 1 clinical trial on March 3rd. Couldn't have moved so quickly had it not been for the behind-the-scenes lab testings of a possible Mars vaccine, Dr. Corbett added. I think about it a lot. How many of the little experiment questions we did not have to belabor this time, said Dr. Corbett. As she saw the first promising mice tests, she told AP, I feel like there was a beginning of all of this coming full circle. Corbett told Dr. Anthony S. Fauci, that's the doctor that you're looking at right now that got his arms crossed. And you always see him up there at the podium with Trump, just going ahead and just telling the gospel truth about this. Okay, so He is the director. It would have taken about 100 years to move, 100 days, excuse me, 100 days to move into the trial. The group did it in 66 days. Although an actual vaccine won't be ready for another 12 to 18 months, the announcement marks a new record in moving the human testing, Bloomberg reports. The National Institute of Health fellow started her work in January when researchers first learned how infections and contagious the virus is and how easily it spreads. Dr. Cobot has nearly 10 years of research experience in immunology. I know I'm jacking that up. She received a BS in biological science with a secondary major in sociology from the University of Maryland, Baltimore in 2008. Okay, let me skip some of this. Okay, so then she enrolled at the University of North Carolina, from where she obtained her PhD in microbiology and immunology in 2014. So we got her background there, and I'm going to play this first video. It's going to irritate you. It's a little over a 7-minute video, but I felt like it was absolutely necessary to hear this. It has that robotic voice that irritates us all. Okay, let's redo that. Okay, let's try that again. Let me refresh that. Damn, doing it wrong. There's that error going on. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, Lord. Okay, let's see what's up. Just play this damn video. Oh, it's been disbanded by the owner, huh? All right. Let me do a double check. Okay, let's try this way. And if I can't play it, I ain't gonna trip. Let me go here and check something here. Let me put this. Bear with me, family, and let's see what's going on. Let me check my sources. Retrograde is over with, my royal family. Just to let y'all know that. You know, some people have been irritated by retrograde. Okay, let's see if we can pull this up here. Okay, here it is. Okay. I'm going to play it, this particular video from my laptop. Oops. Oh. And when it play, you're just going to hear that robotic voice, and you're looking at this picture here. So we'll just roll with it. Well, not exactly, but it's almost that picture. Those people were there. So let's play this. Sure. Okay, here we go.
Corbett talks with President Donald Trump as he tours a laboratory at the National Institutes of Health on March 3, 2020, in Bethesda, Maryland. Evan Bucci, AP Photo.
Nearly every time President Donald Trump has talked about a coronavirus vaccine, he has gotten a real-time fact check from a health expert sitting nearby.
So you're talking over the next few months, you think you could have a vaccine? Trump asked during a meeting with top health officials on Monday.
You won't have a vaccine, corrected Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar after some crosstalk. You'll have a vaccine to go into testing.
All right, so you're talking within a year, Trump said moments later.
A year to a year and a half, interjected Anthony Fauci, a government veteran of disease outbreaks under 6 presidents.
At a time when the federal government is trying to carefully control messaging about the possibility of a cure for a disease that has already claimed the lives of 11 Americans, the president's penchant for on-camera hyperbole has been a constant challenge.
Trump has long claimed to know more than the authorities on a long list of things: TV ratings, taxes, campaigns, firefighting, water management and Twitter, to name a few, but the stakes for his exaggerations have rarely been so high. Indicating that a cure might be around the corner may cause inadequate preparation for the possibility that the disease could spread more widely through the U.S.
I observe that the president has been listening, but since he's not a scientist, I don't think he understands the nuances, said William Schaffner, an infectious disease specialist at Vanderbilt University. And besides, he has an understandable tendency to walk on the sunny side of the street.
The White House is known to control the information that comes across the president's desk, and use visual aids to instruct him on foreign policy decisions or severe weather. But with the coronavirus, a disease even the nation's top health experts admit is still quite mysterious, the president is learning about the science behind the virus as the experts are. And in the meantime, he's sharing some inaccurate theories and asking confounding questions about how a vaccine might work, all while the cameras roll.
Already, Trump has muddied the waters on the difference between a vaccine entering various trial phases and it being ready for widespread public use. While vaccines are able to be quickly developed by researchers, it takes time to get the vaccine on the market. Trump has also raised questions about whether a vaccine for the flu could work on this completely different virus.
You take a solid flu vaccine, you don't think that could have an impact, or much of an impact, on corona? Trump asked.
No, a pharmaceutical researcher quickly replied.
And he's raised doubts about other aspects of coronavirus using language that scientists find troubling.
Appearing Wednesday night on Sean Hannity's Fox News show, Trump described the World Health Organization's official 3.4% coronavirus death rate as a false number, based on a hunch. While the figure may eventually come down, as the current data may not include some undetected cases, it is not false.
Trump explained it this way: if we have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that get better, just by, sitting around and even going to work, some of them go to work, but they get better.
On vaccines specifically, though, the president has long been a source of dubious information. As a presidential candidate, Trump tweeted discredited theories that vaccines cause autism and also spouted the theory during a September 2015 debate.
Andrew Wakefield, the British doctor disciplined for fraud over his claim that the MMR vaccine caused autism, attended Trump's inauguration. A short time later, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who also blames vaccines for many ills, said Trump had promised to establish a commission to investigate such theories, but nothing came of it.
Yet during last year's measles epidemic, the worst in 27 years, Trump did urge people to vaccinate their children.
A senior White House official pushed back on the notion that the president was confusing important information, arguing that Trump was trying to clarify medical vernacular that might be unclear to the public.
It's not confusion, he's just asking questions, the official said. There's just a lot of back and forth when you're talking about vaccines versus treatment.
Vaccine scientists have been amazed at the speed with which the National Institutes of Health and vaccine makers are assembling candidate vaccines to prevent coronavirus. While most vaccines take years or decades to develop, the 12 to 18 month scenario that Fauci has laid out is realistic, according to medical experts. Although it's far from assured.
The concern we have is 12 to 18 months may be too late, said Catherine Edwards, a pediatric infectious disease expert, also at Vanderbilt. The bulk of the outbreaks could be over by then.
If conditions are desperate enough a year from now, the FDA might authorize use of a vaccine without incontrovertible evidence that it protects against disease.
But putting out a vaccine before it's been tested in epidemic conditions could be risky, Edwards said. For instance, during tests of some earlier vaccines against SARS and MERS, which are similar to the recent coronavirus, some animals developed so-called immune enhancement, meaning they got sicker when exposed to the virus than unvaccinated animals. A similar phenomenon may have occurred in some children who were injected with dengue virus vaccines in the Philippines in 2018.
Several vaccines are being studied, but the one moving the fastest is produced by Moderna Therapeutics of Cambridge, Massachusetts, with scientists from Fauci's Institute.
The first phase of the trial is set to be hosted at a Kaiser Permanente Research Institute located in Seattle, but the outbreak of disease there has complicated the plan. The 50 or so study subjects will have to be carefully monitored to assure none of them is infected with the virus during the trial, which is aimed solely at confirming that the vaccine is safe, one scientist familiar with the trial said.
Trump's allies said the president's rhetoric on a shortened vaccine timeline is helping accelerate the process.
If President Trump went by the old messaging playbook, we wouldn't see a coronavirus vaccine for years. Instead, he's aggressively pushing the NIH, the Centers for Disease Control, our top researchers, and even private drug companies to get it done immediately, said Jason Miller, senior communications advisor on the 2016 Trump campaign.
And if President Trump ruffles a few feathers with his hyperbole in the pursuit of a cure to keep people safe, there will be zero complaints, he added. Good for him.
Okay. So, I thought that was necessary to hear, and it was also necessary for me to hear because I pronounced a word wrong. I kept saying, here's this company. It's called Moderna, and I called it Modern. I jacked that one up. All right. Well, we continue on. Y'all know I'm not going to cut anything. So, yeah, this is the pharmaceutical company that's really pushing Dr. Cobb's research team in coming up with a vaccine, which they so far have developed in that first phase right here, clinical trials. But he's pushing it really, really hard. So, as we continue on, I can take this down. And we're going to listen to our queen speak here. It's a little over 3-minute video.
What we know is that this virus is in the same family of viruses like SARS. So it is akin and about 80% genetically similar to the SARS virus. We know now, based on some of the transmission data from China, that not only did the virus jump from an animal reservoir into humans, but there is sustained human-to-human transmission, and that's been documented several times over now. Including in a hospital setting with healthcare workers. Every day, we're learning more and more and more. Obviously, because this is a novel virus, and even though we've been to this rodeo before with MERS and SARS, there's still so many unknowns. This is the protein that is on the surface of a coronavirus, and it is the protein that the virus uses to attach to the cell and then enter the cell. What an mRNA vaccine is we're essentially delivering the genetic material. So we're delivering the messenger RNA that encodes our mutated novel coronavirus spike. The messenger RNA will tell the body to present this spike protein, and the body will respond by creating an immune response. And hypothetically, if all goes well, then that immune response will then be able to see a novel coronavirus before a person gets infected and prevent that infection. We started this collaboration with Moderna because we wanted to utilize our antigen concept, so our vaccine concept, but deliver it via their platform. So what that means is that we take our sequence from the VRC and we give it to Moderna, and Moderna develops the vaccine. And all of these things are things that we've done a lot actually with MERS and SARS vaccine concepts, including MERS mRNA. So we know what types of immune responses we're looking for in small animal models. And so we will be testing, evaluating those immune responses, and then we will be establishing a clinical trial. It would be the upwards of a year before we have data from those types of studies that would support a vaccine that is licensed for general use.
All right. Our queen spoke, and they've really been hiding her behind the scenes. So any inkling of information that she gets, Dr. Fauci, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, that's up there with Trump side by side. He gotta know. And Trump is really putting a lot of pressure on these folks because he wants them to produce something now. So when he gets the information, let's listen to this. Oh, first this. Record pace for coronavirus trial could be new normal for vaccines. 66 days, which I read, for genetic sequencing to clinical trial, a new vaccine record. Process could have been faster if SARS and MARS research hadn't weighed. So anyway, listen to Trump. You know, Trump don't like to read, so he tries to, wing it as he go. And he's not an expert on shit, but this is what he consider himself an expert. And so up here on the top it says Trump, and a lot of us already know this, said malaria drug approved to treat coronavirus.
But the nice part is it's been around for a long time. So we know that if things don't go as planned, it's not going to kill anybody. When you go with a brand new drug, you don't know that that's going to happen. You have to see, and you have to go long test. But this has been used in different forms, very powerful drug in different forms. And it's shown very encouraging, very, very encouraging early results. And we're going to be able to make that drug available almost immediately. And that's where the FDA has been so great. They've gone through the approval process. It's been approved, and they did it. They took it down from many, many months to immediate. So we're going to be able to make that drug available by prescription or states. I spoke with Governor Cuomo about it at great length last night, and he wants to be right on the. He wants to be first on the line, and so I think that's there's tremendous promise. Based on the results and other tests, there's tremendous promise. And normally the FDA would take a long time to approve something like that, and it was approved very, very quickly, and it's now approved by prescription. Individual states will handle it. They can handle it. Doctors will handle it, and I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be great. Then we're quickly studying this drug, and while we're continuing to study it, but the studying is going to be also done as it's given out to large groups of people, perhaps in New York and other places.
So Trump, this is the question that I asked Trump. Is it a vaccine or a drug? Because based on my research, this is a vaccine, not a unquote drug. and you see they pushing this really hard, which is extremely dangerous. Because in my mind, I'm just being blunt with y'all. 5 years. 5 years. So, they pushing this thing, that's all I can say. They just pushing it really hard. And again, our queen here is the senior researcher. She got a big department that she got to lead. She got a great deal of responsibilities. So we have an audio here. It's a symposium. It's just a partial. And I'm going to put the link there, and we're going to hear what our queen have to say. Going into more detail about this. Just a preview, okay, like they said.
And provided a conformational lock, whereby now the spike proteins cannot flip into their post-fusion conformation. We were able to do some initial analyses of these locked or stabilized prefusion coronavirus spike proteins and showed that not only did they express in our cell culture system at upward of 50-fold greater than the wild-type versions, but also, as you can tell by these EM pictures shown here, the wild-type version readily flips into its post-fusion or elongated conformation, whereby the S2P version stays in a mushroom squatted prefusion shape. Interestingly enough, those same synonymous 2P mutations can effectively stabilize a multitude of coronavirus prefusion spikes, and we've at this point stabilized 12 coronavirus spike proteins, but here I just show a brief slide detailing the 2P mutations that we've included in OC43 and 229E, which are endemic human coronaviruses, a porcine coronavirus PEDV, and then also we are able to stabilize the WIV1 coronavirus spike protein, which is a spike protein from a potentially emerging coronavirus. With that, with vaccine development, the next step is to then test these coronavirus spike proteins for immunogenicity in mouse models. The first step that we took, and using the MERS S2P as an example for how potently immunogenic these coronavirus spike proteins are, we immunized biopsy mice at week 0 and week 3 with a prime and boost with our coronavirus MERS S2P, our MERS wild-type spike protein, and then also a MERS S1 monomer, which does.
All right, so we got a sample of that, my royal family. And like I said, you can listen to more of her lectures here. I will make a point, because I'm even want to listen to it. I'll put this link to the top, because this is deep. I like listening to stuff like this, and this presentation that this queen gave about this. So let's go over here to the bonus video that I said that will maybe piss some of y'all off. Now, I often talk about how where is that at? Hope I didn't lose it. I often talk about how these Beckys always want to be the first of everything. And here it is. Let me go back. And the message that I've been giving the royal family for a while, that I said our father said she would be the first. She would be the first. And we're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to play this video twice, and I want you to fully absorb this in your frontal lobe. They are already on the first clinical trial. They got vaccines already. And look who is the first to want to jump up and get stuck with this shit. Check this out. Let's open that up. Get that sound going.
I was the first. It's unbelievable. I'm really excited about that. It was easy. It was just like a flu shot, or I had a flu shot a couple months ago. It was very similar to that process. It didn't hurt. I was very happy about that. The privilege that I have to be healthy and to have a full-time job in the tech sector in Seattle, and to be a salaried employee, to be able to work from home, to be able to take the time off to take care of my family, to take care of my kids that are out of school, and to be able to take the time to come and be part of this trial vaccine. I feel so privileged to do that. I hope that we get to a working vaccine quickly, and that we can save lives, and that people can go back to life as soon as possible.
So check that out. You see what I mean, my royal family, about being the first? And you see what I mean, that her man would let her be injected with that, make her feel privileged. Isn't that word she said? That's a word we don't use. When you are doing these testing, you don't want no rush on it. And that's the fastest I ever heard. You're talking about 66 days. And you seen the date up there. Oh, I think it was March 18th that she got this, the first phases of it. And I mean, they do numerous testing. So this is the COVID-19, experimental COVID-19 vaccine. And human beings are taking that chance. But look who is the first. Y'all know what I said. It's been 3 years now. So let's just absorb that on our frontal lobe one more time. You hear them there taking pictures and everything.
I was the first. It's unbelievable. I'm really excited about that. It was easy. It was just like a flu shot, or I had a flu shot a couple months ago. It was very similar to that process. It didn't hurt. I was very happy about that. The privilege that I have to be healthy and to have a full-time job in the tech sector in Seattle, and to be a salaried employee, to be able to work from home, to be able to take the time off to take care of my family, to take care of my kids that are out of school, and to be able to take the time to come and be part of this trial vaccine. I feel so privileged to do that. I hope that we get to a working vaccine quickly, and that we can save lives, and that people can go back to life as soon as possible.
Nothing will ever be the same again, Becky, and you are the first. You feel quite privileged. Quite privileged. I know you do. So, we're going to keep a close eye on how all this go down. Let me take that away. I'm tired of looking at them. And but I did want to honor our queen here, Dr. Colbert, and let's keep her in prayer, because the enemy is breathing down her throat, and Trump is real quick to blame, because he wants what he wants. He's quite selfish. Overall, Esau is quite selfish. He represents them quite well. He shows the true nature. And that's what's been so deep about the coronavirus. Many things are being revealed. And you would think, since this is some promising results that they are getting, you think he would mention her name. As far as he's concerned, she don't exist. And in this picture, because I remember when he was down there, he said he could have been a doctor. You know, he's always talking about what type of genius he is. But to put her on the front line, she got to be really, really sharp in knowing what she's doing. So I'll leave it right there, my royal family. Render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.